EP2.
Gary led me into the back room. It was barely big enough for one bed. A girl lay on it. She looked about 10 years old, but her face was sallow, her eye sockets deeply sunken, making her eyes look disproportionately huge, the hollow look of the very sick. What struck me as odd was her neck. Every inch of exposed skin was covered in dark purple bruising, large patches of what looked like scratch or burn marks. Her condition has gotten this bad? I thought, my stomach turning. She looked far worse in person than she had in the live streams. On camera, you could still see some color in her face. Standing here now, she had the sunken stillness of someone close to the end. When she heard me come in, the girl cracked her eyes open for just a moment, then closed them again. How has she been doing lately? Any improvement? She obviously hadn't been receiving proper medical care. You could see it just by looking at her. But if the internet was right and Gary Shelton had received $600,000 in donations, their lives shouldn't be this desperate. I guess I'm just not good enough as a father. If I had anything more to offer, my girl wouldn't have to suffer like this. This disease is so hard to treat. No matter how much money you pour in, all you can do is keep her alive. Gary lowered his head and wiped at his eyes as he spoke. He was smart. Before I even opened my mouth, he already knew why I was there, to find out where the money went. Better to get ahead of it than wait for me to ask. I didn't respond. Instead, I pulled a chair over to the girl's bedside and sat down. The moment I sat, I caught a strong smell, not the metallic odor of a wound, but the distinct smell of menstrual blood. But this child looked barely 10 years old. How could she already be menstruating? I made an excuse about being thirsty and sent Gary to fetch some water, hoping to speak with the girl privately. Hey, sweetie, are you okay? The girl opened her eyes, brow furrowed, as if she was fighting back tears. It's okay. I'm here to help you. You can tell me anything that's bothering you. She looked like she was about to say something, but at exactly that moment, Gary walked back in with the water. The girl immediately shut her eyes and pretended to be asleep. Miss Ward, here, your water. Gary bent at the waist and handed it to me with a cheerful grin. I thanked him while scanning the room. The back bedroom was just like the front. Every surface in sight was crowded with bottles and jars of medicine. The only piece of furniture was the bed where the girl lay. The sheets and blankets were stained yellow, clearly unwashed for a long time. He seemed to catch me looking. Don't mind the mess, Miss Ward. My daughter can't move. Everything happens right there in bed, so it gets a little unclean. That's my fault. My fault entirely. If her mother were still around, things wouldn't be so hard. Gary looked like he was about to cry again. In my short time as a reporter, I'd already learned there were two situations that made the job the hardest. The first, interviewing people with real authority. The pressure is suffocating. The second, people like Gary Shelton, who are extraordinarily skilled at performing suffering. That kind of sadness can cloud your judgment. It makes you lose sight of what's actually true. So I quickly changed the subject and steered Gary into the formal interview portion of the visit, the Q&A I'd prepared in advance. The whole thing moved along smoothly on the surface, but it wasn't actually productive. Gary was clever. Every time I got close to a key question, he slipped away from the real answer.
He knew how to talk around things.
When I asked, "Have you run into any major difficulties getting your daughter the care she needs?" he answered, "There are always difficulties, but suffering a little for your own child is nothing. I'm also very grateful to all the friends who've helped us along the way." It was less like answering my questions and more like using my interview to polish his public image. Seeing I wasn't going to get anything useful, I wrapped things up. I'd go back, dig deeper online, and come back for a second interview once I knew more. As I was leaving, he walked me downstairs. I was about to go when he called after me. "Miss Ward, can I ask you something?"